Quentin Tarantino's movies are best known for their stylized violence, pulp culture references, witty repartee.
They look like a couple of dorks.
You're closed, motherfucker.
And feet. But his stories aren't just spectacle. They have depth. In Pulp Fiction, Tarantino offers a meaningful message. Pride kills, but humility just might save your life. Tarantino establishes this when Marcellus Wallace, a local gang boss, pays Butch to throw a fight. In their meeting, Wallace tells Butch,
"Pride only hurts. It never helped."
This is essentially a rephrasing of the proverb, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. To be clear, we're not talking about the pride of self-respect or satisfaction in one's achievements, identity, or values. We're talking about hubris, excessive pride, the kind of pride that makes people think they're better than others, the kind of pride that breeds arrogance, the illusion of control, and a disregard for limitations or consequences. Think John Hammond in Jurassic Park. His hubris, born from his confidence in technology, leads him to believe he could create dinosaurs without risk or consequence. Obviously, he was wrong. Or think Jordan Belfort in The Wolf of Wall Street. His hubris, born from his vast wealth and success, makes him believe he can swindle his clients right under the nose of the FBI. Of course, he's wrong too. In Pulp Fiction, hubris is a silent engine that leads to ruin. Consider Vincent, the epitome of cool. He's got good looks, money, sweet dance moves, and power, gained by the gun on his hip and his association to Marcellus Wallace. So it's no wonder he's also cocky, dismissive, and driven to assert dominance. Consider his run-in with Butch. Butch stands beside Vincent to ask the bartender for a pack of cigarettes. And all the while, Vincent stares him down. Most men wouldn't dare start a fight with a professional fighter, even one with a losing record. Yet Vince, high on ego, thinks he can take Butch in a fight. But before anything can happen, Marcellus Wallace calls Vincent over. Vincent is a schoolyard bully who never grew up, the guy who demands respect even when he doesn't deserve it. Consider his run-in with the wolf. After accidentally shooting Marvin in the face, Vincent and Jules have to get off the streets, clean their car, and dispose of Marvin's body. Marcellus Wallace sends his cleaner, known as the Wolf, to help Vincent and Jules. When the Wolf arrives and gives instructions, Vincent says,
"Please would be nice."
At this point, any ordinary person would be thankful for the help and follow the Wolf's instructions, but not Vincent. He's indignant. Despite being the sole cause of his predicament, he can't help but assert his dominance and demand respect. The Wolf could easily tell Vincent to f*** off and leave, but he doesn't. He says,
"So, pretty please, with sugar on top. Clean the car."
The Wolf actually gives Vincent what he wants, however sarcastically. Only then does Vincent comply. It's not long before his hubris betrays him. When Marcellus Wallace tasks Vincent to kill Butch, Vincent doesn't take the job seriously. While in Butch's apartment, nature calls, and instead of taking his gun with him to the bathroom, he leaves it on the kitchen counter. Not the smartest move, but maybe he assumes Butch fled the city and figures Butch's apartment is safe territory. Or maybe he assumes all he needs for protection are his fists. Whatever the case, Vincent is a trespasser in another man's home. He should feel anything but safe. He should be on guard, ever vigilant that his target arrives. He should respect the stakes of his job and assume that his target may pose at least some threat to him. But he doesn't. Instead, his hubris tells him he's safe, that he's in control. Then the inevitable happens. Butch, the man Vincent underestimated and tried to intimidate, comes home, finds the gun, which signals that an assassin is in his home, and uses it to kill Vincent. Vincent's hubris makes him believe he is the alpha male and impervious to harm. As such, he becomes blind to danger and ultimately to survival. Tarantino makes clear that fate loathes hubris, but fate does offer grace. Consider Vincent's partner in crime, Jules. At the start of the movie, Jules is also filled with hubris. His career as a hitman makes him believe he isn't an ordinary man, but an agent of righteousness. He even quotes the Bible, specifically Ezekiel 25:17, as a way to intimidate and justify his violence. The verse he cites is pure theater, a performance of power that gives his killings a sense of righteousness, a divine justice. In reality, though, Jules is just a gun for hire who commits cold-blooded murder, but his hubris would have him think otherwise. After Jules kills Brett for stealing a briefcase from Marcellus Wallace, a man jumps out of the bathroom and empties his gun at him and Vincent. Despite being at point-blank range, the man misses every shot. After checking that they are okay, Jules and Vincent return fire. Then Jules has an epiphany. Their survival from this barrage of gunfire is a miracle. The hand of God saved him and Vincent, as evidenced by the bullet holes in the wall behind them. This near-death experience shatters Jules' hubris, his illusion of power and control. Unlike Vincent, who dismisses the event as mere luck, as freaky shit that just happens, Jules is shook by what he perceives as a sign to change. So, he immediately sets out to do just that, and announces his retirement from the life of crime. Of course, these are just words, a hollow gesture. The true test of whether he has really changed appears later that morning, where he is once again placed in a position to wield violence, justifiably no less. While Jules and Vincent eat breakfast at a diner, a couple commences a robbery. While Pumpkin collects the diner's wallets, Honey Bunny stands sentry. As Pumpkin collects Jules' wallet, he notices Marcellus Wallace's briefcase and demands it from Jules. Jules could relinquish the briefcase to Pumpkin. After all, it's not his property. If Pumpkin takes it, he loses nothing. However, in that briefcase is something irreplaceable: Marcellus Wallace's soul. So, in an act of pure altruism, Jules puts his life on the line to protect Marcellus Wallace's soul. Jules disarms Pumpkin, but he doesn't kill him, as Jules might have before the miracle. Instead, he opts for restraint and instructs Pumpkin to take his own money instead. It's here that Jules has another epiphany. Every time he repeated Ezekiel 25:17, he was not the righteous man, but the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. By admitting his sins, accepting his true self, and allowing Pumpkin and his girlfriend Yolanda to flee, Jules sheds his hubris and transforms into a budding shepherd who guides the weak through the valley of the darkness. His hubris transforms into humility, which alters his fate. Unlike Vincent, he leaves the criminal world alive and possibly redeemed. If you enjoyed this video, like and subscribe for more deep dives. Till next time.